Hey guys, I am Trent for Trent Sense, and I am here to talk to all of you about my thoughts on the Nokia Lumia 920. Here is the retail packaging of the review unit from Nokia Connects. On the front face of the 920, you have a 4.5-inch PureMotion HD clear black display. Above the display, you've got the Nokia branding, along with a front-facing video camera and the earpiece. And right below it, you've got the 3 touch commands for the Windows Phone OS, the back key, the start menu key, and the search key. At the top, you have a centralized headphone port, flanked by the micro SIM card tray and a secondary microphone. At the bottom, you have a centralized micro USB port, flanked by the microphone, the loudspeaker, and Torx screws. On the right side of the phone, you have 3 tactile keys. The bottommost key is for the camera, the middle key is for power and standby, and the uppermost key is a rocker key for controlling volume. On the left side, you have nothing more than bare polycarbonate. And on the back, you've got the 8-megapixel camera unit, which features a Carl Zeiss lens with PureView technology, as well as a dual LED flash. Now, being a devout user of Android, I of course experienced a bit of a culture shock when I took on the challenge of using the Windows Phone platform. The only thing that got me excited to use the platform in the first place came from the hardware and software perks of the Nokia brand name. In the same manner of the Symbian and MeeGo devices that preceded it, this Lumia 920 continues to be an example of what Nokia has to offer. Excellent build quality, in addition to worthwhile software applications. Nokia Connects was nice enough to send me a package ahead of time to display key hardware features in this device. The Carl Zeiss optic lens and the camera module, in addition to the polycarbonate body that made up the phone, and the Corning Gorilla Glass that made up the display. In comparison to the Lumia 900, the 920 of course has a larger screen, a larger body, and the elements of the tactile keys and the camera lens have a darker finish, which I find a bit more appealing. These same keys on the right side of the phone happen to sit a bit higher to make them easier to feel with my fingertips. The SIM card tray for the 920 is completely made of plastic in comparison to the metallic contraption on the 900. Now, the bezel of the 920's display seamlessly flows and spills into the polycarbonate shell, further adding to the overall fluidity of the design. So once again, the Lumia 920 continues to be a great example of the hardware that Nokia continues to put out. That looks extremely sexy, it feels sexy, and you can't help but get mesmerized when you look at the glossy polycarbonate shell and the glorious 4.5-inch PureMotion clear black display. Once I turned it on, I immediately noticed the huge amount of improvement that went into the touch responsiveness of the 4.5-inch clear black display. Now, I also love the fact that the sensitivity could be increased to where you could use it while wearing gloves or use it with the tip of a key. Now, after the initial excitement of being reunited with Nokia hardware, I was able to finally ease myself into being comfortable with the Windows Phone 8 operating system. Now, the first thing that jumped out at me were the adjustable live tiles on the start menu. Microsoft made an excellent decision in doing away with all of the empty space on the right margin of the start menu, which allowed for more space on the screen for the displaying of the live tiles. Now, I also love the quirky alphabetical shortcut method on the listing of the applications and the settings as well. Listening to voice calls on the main earpiece always left me wanting a little teeny bit more volume. On the other hand, the loudspeaker tended to be sufficient for listening to multimedia content from YouTube, Netflix, or even music applications.
Bring me to my knees, you make me testify. You can make a sinner
not really a car. It is a phone, and it has a glasses-free...
It may be upside down, but I can't really tell because my eyes are adjusting to the green.
Let's show that to the
Says, oh, MacDonald had a farm. Hallelujah. E-I-E-I-O.
Now, I will be the first to admit that I am not a camera expert. You know, unless I'm using the close-up macro mode on purpose, I tend to turn on the camera app and use autofocus and leave it at that. With that being said, I was not impressed by the 8-megapixel camera that is said to have, you know, pure view technology along with Carl Zeiss optics. Even though color representation was a lot more accurate with the 920, to me the colors just weren't vivid enough. They didn't have the same kind of pop that I was always used to on the Galaxy S3. Everyday typing with the virtual QWERTY keypad turned out to be a very nice experience, and it went quite smoothly with the speedy touch response of the display. Now, on top of that, there was added convenience from reliable autocorrection and word prediction as well. Nokia Drive is the one navigation app that is a suitable alternative to what I'm used to with Google navigation. As long as I kept the annoying speed alert off, I was good to go on my road trips.
After 0.1 mile, turn right onto South Boulevard.
One charge was enough for me to get through a full workday of voice calls, text messages, and constant updating of my emails and social network notifications. But more often than not, I ended up finding myself having to recharge the phone by the early evening. Now, connecting the phone to my Mac and having it be recognized by the Windows Phone Connector for Mac application was no trouble at all. It worked just fine in that regard. However, there was a huge issue in being able to sync my music from my iTunes playlist over to the device. Now, after letting it sit overnight to sync 2,000 songs, only 5 of them were synced to the phone, while the rest of them ended up having some sort of a could not copy to the device error message. Now, unfortunately, I think this was an issue from WP8 because WP7 on the 900 had no trouble in syncing the same music. I simply wanted to sync my own music to the device. That's it. And if I couldn't do that, I at least wanted to be able to use Spotify. So being limited in that regard really made it to be my first major deal breaker in using this Windows Phone 8 device. Now, the main benefit for me in using Windows Phone is overall simplicity, ease of use, and the cleanliness of the Metro UI. When you go from the straight, clean lines of the live tiles to the easily readable fonts, there is also the added convenience of having all of your content aggregated into a system of hubs. Once I tap onto the People Live tile, not only does it list all of my contacts and the recent contacts that I was in touch with, but it also lists every single social network post that came from all of my contacts. So in one full swoop, I can scroll up and down all of these notifications to see who's been saying what on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or what have you. Then there is the Me Hub that pertains to you as the owner of the device. Once you click into that tile, not only do you see all of your own social network postings, but you have a listing of notifications of people who responded to those postings as well. Now, just when you think it can't get any better, the Me tile also allows you to post status updates to numerous social networks at one time. It allows you to also check in to different geographical locations where you happen to be located, and it allows you to set your chat status as well. Then you also have the Xbox Gaming Hub that groups together all of your gaming activity from any games purchased from the Microsoft Marketplace. In addition to the convenience of having music controls on a drop-down taskbar, I also loved how the live tile of the application showed the information of the artist that was currently playing. As an Android user, I have to admit that I am envious of you Windows Phone users out there who have access to a tactile camera key. Now, this same key proves to be very convenient in starting up the camera application from when the phone is in standby mode. Now, even though this unlocked 920 did not have AT&T LTE built into it, it still gave me plenty speed when it came to data connectivity on my local carrier. Now, one terrific feature that I had fun using on Windows Phone was the voice activation feature. You can enable this by doing a long press on the Start menu key. And what it does is it gives you a voice prompt to enable you to speak any kind of command you can think of to the phone. Text Olga Suarez mobile.
Texting Olga Suarez.
I would like to attend the party, but I'm not sure of the time.
I would like to attend the party, but I'm not sure of the time.
Open Foursquare.
Starting Foursquare.
Now, in regards to giving you a very clean, uncluttered, very intuitive experience in navigating your phone, Windows Phone is the way to go if you're not trying to go to the iPhone. The Windows Phone platform does have restrictions when it comes to offering you a certain amount of customization. But at the end of the day, it's not for those people who are looking to go above and beyond in customizing their desktop screens. It's for those people who want to have a no-fuss experience in using their smartphone. The only way that I would ever consider living with the Windows Phone platform is if I had it combined with Nokia hardware, in addition to certain apps like Nokia Drive, Nokia Maps, Nokia Creative Studio, Nokia Cinemagraph, and what have you. Having all of the Nokia perks would be enough for me to take on the Windows Phone platform if I had to. I am an Android user. I like having my multiple desktop screens. I like having my folders. I like having, my drop-down notification bar with all of the access to different settings. I love all of that. Just because Windows Phone may not be the ticket for me does not mean that it may not work for any of you guys out there looking for a more simplistic and more intuitive interface experience on their smartphone. I would like to give a huge thanks and a shout out to all of the great people at Nokia Connects who have given me this wonderful privilege to be able to review such a great Windows Phone unit from Nokia. I would also like to give a special shout out to a couple of good buddies of mine. David Crocker and Brett Inman have joined forces to bring us a brand new tech webzine called Technology Today. Now, their plan is to give us all the latest and greatest in technology news. So I'm extremely happy for the both of these guys, and be sure to follow the both of them on Facebook and Twitter. So, with all of that being said, that concludes another review on Trent Sense, and I ask that all of you guys take care and stay safe.